10 more total pounds. You know what? I worked with the 130s last week for the first time in months of doing incline dumbbells. So, and it felt pretty good. So I'm thinking the 135s today. Oh man, I think I might already regret deciding to do dumbbells again. No, I don't. Now, if I had to grade on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the worst and the most enhanced that I feel the effects of my leg day, if I had to grade it on a scale of 1 to 10, and again, 10 being the worst, I'd say I'm at a 10. To even bend over, again, I don't know why I decided to do dumbbells again today, but I kind of have that itch again. Like I had such a great chest pump after doing dumbbells last Thursday. Um, and again, like I said, last Thursday was the first time in forever that I kind of just wanted to do it again today. So even though my legs, like I said, are at a 10 right now, they are like to even bend over and pick up the dumbbells. And by the third set, who knows? It might rear its ugly head, and I'm gonna really regret doing dumbbells. But I don't often have that itch to do dumbbells on any kind of bench press. I would say incline is probably, for whatever reason, I can't even explain why, but even more so than flat, I do prefer incline dumbbell bench a little more. So if I was going to do dumbbells on any kind of bench, it would be incline. But even then, it's not, it's a pretty rare occurrence that I do dumbbells. So even though I did them last week, I figured I have the itch again. Why not do them again? Um, I am feeling a little worn down today, so going up, it's only 5 pounds extra in each arm, 135s. But it might not. You know what? I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to put the thoughts in my head. I'm just gonna do the first set. First of all, I'm gonna change the song because this ain't doing it. Change the song. Try to really lock in and just do the first set, and I'll judge off that. So yeah, let me change this fucking song. I mean, for what it is, it's a good song, but not for right now. It's not gonna get me where I want to be in terms of my headspace. You know what? Here we go. All right. Okay, now in hindsight, it's a little easier for me to say this, but I wasn't feeling the best going into that. It's just been a long work week. But again, without them being negative, just try to chase those thoughts out of my head, turn on a good song. And like I said, just lock in. Kind of worked because it went better than I thought. I did 10, and dare I say, if I had a little more, what's the word? Not aggression, I guess aggression, and a sense of urgency. That's what I was looking for. A little more sense of urgency. I think I could have done 11 reps. But the thing is, a lot of you know, maybe you don't, but people that have watched before, that my second set is usually 9 times out of 10, it's usually better than the first. So can I do 11 on the next one? It's definitely possible. So that went good. Actually, great. Um, Again, probably the same format. I'll do 2 more sets with these, somewhat heavier. And then after the next two, I'll do another two. Probably go down to the 110s because last week I went down to the 105s. Since I went up here from the 130s to the 135s, I'll do the same thing on the back down sets. Go from the 105s to the 110s. That'll have me at 5 sets, and then we'll go from there. Throw in whatever I feel like be good for today. But that was a good start, better than expected. So that's always good. So I went back and watched that set real quick, and to my surprise, the reps were pretty freaking controlled. Like I said, if I had more sense of urgency and did an AMRAP style set rather than controlling it, um, with these 135s, I'm thinking 11 or 12, maybe even. But again, I you know it's hard for me to get that power lifter side out. I am doing much better, leaning more toward the bodybuilding aspect, more control, more time under tension, but still going as heavy as I can with those themes. Um, but I can't help myself. I still find myself thinking in those terms. Um, because I like to have that element, that strength element. I still want to be somewhat strong, especially for how I look. I want to be at least be as strong as I look, or at least respectable, you know. So, but anyways, that was a really good set. So before I get to rambling too much, let me lock in and do this next one. Fucking awesome. 11. One more. One more than the last set. Let's do it again, man. Okay, I'll be honest, I have no idea how many reps I did there on that set, but I know it did the trick. All right, let me go down to the 110s. You know, I just realized I did, yeah, I did. So 10 more total pounds, 5 more pounds in each arm for the same number of reps last week. So I might keep this going. Next Thursday, I might, keyword might, go up to the 140s, see what I can do. Just ease into it, you know. That is a smart way to approach anytime you go back into a new exercise, or especially one you've never even done before, you know. Don't go in guns a-blazing, even though it's kind of the temptation sometimes. Fuck it. I'm going to go on the 110s, do a couple more lighter sets, higher reps, obviously. And then, like I said, that'll be it here. Move on to some accessory stuff. Got a little too cocky on that last rep. Held it down there at the bottom for, oh, too long. Let's just say that. How many reps was that? Oh, fuck. I have to go back and count. Doesn't really matter because when I get to these back down sets, I mean, the reps kind of matter and they don't, if that makes sense. Because, you know, I still want this to be challenging. I don't want to be just busting out 30 reps, you know. That's more of a drop set style. This is this. The difference for me between a drop set and a back down is, um, you know, a drop set. One is immediately after a regular set, or as soon as you can make it. And if you got to take some plates off, that's understandable. But a back down set is, you know, I lower the weight as much as I feel necessary from the straight sets I did before that were obviously heavier, and I limit the rest period, but it's not immediately into it like a drop set would be. So yeah, I mean, I want this to be higher reps instead of 10 or 11 like I did with the 135s. It is, uh, I did at least 15, I think, if not a little more. So, but it was a challenging 15, you know. That is kind of the sweet spot for me with a back down set, around 15 reps, give or take. So one more time, man. One more, and then we'll move on to something else. Oh shit! Got a little too Fooling myself again there. You know, let's do a drop set to make up for that. I don't want to end on a complete failed rep, even though that's kind of the idea. But yeah, let's do a drop set. Um, 60 sound good. Oh yeah, that was nice. Now I'm starting to get pumped up. All right, let's do. Let's just kind of work our way down. We did upper, 5 good sets and a drop set. So let's do mid, chest next, then we'll finish with lower. Might not be a lot of volume, maybe 3 sets each, so that'll have me at 11 sets. I think it'll be good though. I'll again, of course, like always, I'll make a definitive decision when I get to the very end. Maybe I'll do a little bit more, but won't know until I get there. So let me clean up my mess. And we'll do some mid chest. All right, we got some standard pec deck action going on. Do I even really need to say anything for this? Kind of self-explanatory. So 3 sets and a drop set. Thinking the seat is just a little too high. Oh, maybe, I don't know. Let's just try that. And if that's too low, I'll raise it back up. But other than that, I felt good. Did 2 more. All right, let's do some lower chest. That was great. Just kind of locked in there, and obviously didn't say a word after the first one until now. It felt good, man. So let's do some lower chest. All right, so I was gonna stay on the pec deck and do my what is now for me traditional kind of where I scoot my ass out to the edge of the seat, and that angle change makes it to where I hit lower chest a lot more. Actually, pretty much totally lower chest whenever I do it like that. But I saw my opportunity and I took it. The cables usually are not open, especially the the more you get into the afternoon and early evening. The gym really starts to pack up. So cables are open. So again, like I said, I saw my opportunity and I took it. So now that I'm not on the pec deck and I'm not going to do that, rather than do a fly, which is normally what I would do, a high to low to hit the lower chest, I'm gonna make it more of a press, and I'll probably go supinated, so I'll go underhand. That emphasizes lower chest even more. It makes it more natural to hit your lower chest. You don't have to think about it as much, but I'm always gonna suggest have that good mind muscle connection. So you still want to be thinking lower chest, but um, so yeah, it's gonna be more of a press, high to low. Maybe not completely low like this, but you know, I'll come up here and then kind of go down with it. So this weight, I honestly don't know if it's gonna be heavy or light. I actually have no idea. I don't do this a lot, so if I had to guess, I would say, oh, it feels heavy. Once I start doing the reps, I think it'll be on the lighter side. If so, I'll go up. But let's do this first one. I mean, it's not heavy, but I think it's hard to kind of explain how much not having something like so when you're bench pressing or even in the machine, you're pushing against something because your back is being pushed against a solid foundation, which is the bench. Here, you don't have that. You're standing, there's nothing behind you. So it's more free and in a way makes it harder. You know what I mean? Um, so it's like it wasn't heavy. It's just like I said, I don't do this movement a lot. So I'm just gonna stick with that probably. I mean, oh fuck, I don't know. You know what? Let me try to. So I got two. Well, I'm sure you can see. I got two of these little extra plates on here. Let me just add the other two, and I'll see what that does. I'm not gonna go crazy here. Oh, what a drop set that was. Holy fuck. All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna do one more, just one more set of some deficit push-ups. I think I'll be done after that. All right, a great way to finish chest day. I love finishing with um, one or more sets of deficit push-ups, especially when I slowly eccentric down, do some negatives. It was great. So let's just get right into it. I did, dude. I don't know why, but today at work, I was getting so thirsty. The last probably oh 2 or 3 hours, I would say. Um, I went through 2 bottles of water. I had a vitamin water in my cooler, and then I drank 8 ounces of pre-workout. And I was all like 2 hours before the gym. So it's probably it's been almost 4 hours now, but I just feel bloated. I feel fucking bloated. Is what it is though. We can still check out the chest pump, so let's do so. Oh boy, that was a pretty good workout. I wouldn't say my best. Um, the pump was definitely not. It just wasn't as good as last Thursday when I did dumbbells. But you know, every workout is not going to be a carbon copy if that was the case, we'd always choose the best one of each day. You know, put it on repeat. Like when you find a good song, it just doesn't work like that. So what I always say, you just got to keep showing up. That's the main thing. So even though this wasn't the best pump, I still, I went heavier on the incline dumbbell press, um, and it actually felt pretty light. So I mean, you can generally, generally, you can always take something positive from a workout. Sometimes you got to dig a little deeper than other days, but you keep that good, healthy mindset, um, and I think it'll, in the long run and in the short run, I guess, but especially in the long run, it just makes things easier, because maybe it's just me. Maybe people out there that have been training just as long or longer feel different, but I think it gets harder the longer you get into it because just like a car, you put more mileage on your body, the more things can break down, the more tired you're gonna feel. This is where proper rest and sleep come in, but if you're working a 9 to 5 like me, it's not always that simple. But yeah, just try to keep a good, healthy mindset. And like I said, usually you can find something positive out of each workout. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna go do some abs, and I'll be back tomorrow for um, shoulders and triceps. So go knock this ab training out.